What's going on, everybody? Here with the one and only Frank Desico. We're here at Ohio Sports and Fitness, and we are going to talk about his top 3 keys to staying burn-proof. So Frank and I have known each other our entire lives, pretty much. So our parents knew each other, and I remember you playing Little League Baseball with Jared.
Trying to play.
You guys were better than me, you know? So I was okay. But also, too, there's like a 6-year difference. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. You know, again, it was always like my mom would be like, oh, you know, Frank's doing this, Frank's doing that. And obviously, knowing your sister used to babysit us, all that stuff. So just kind of great times with the Desicos. But ultimately, I wanted to have Frank on here because, someone I trust, someone who's you're just a great human being. So
thank you.
Before we get rolling into your first key, tell them a little bit about yourself, and then also too about where we are right now.
Yeah. So I was born and raised here in Ohio, obviously in Willoughby.
Yep.
I went to St. Ignatius High School. Tried to play sports there for a little bit, baseball, football. After that, I went on to play collegiately at the University of Notre Dame.
The real Notre Dame. To be clear, I went to the fake Notre Dame. Dave back there, we both went to the fake Notre Dame.
We don't want to underride the Notre Dame College. It's still a great school, but yes, not quite
the real Notre Dame.
South Bend.
Not South Euclid, South Bend.
South Bend, right? Sorry, and both again have that South in front of it, so it's there's a discrepancy there. But
we'd be traveling for track, and like people, a restaurant, wherever we were, like traveling. And they're like, oh, go Irish. And we're like, well, no, we're like South Euclid. They're like, oh, South Bend. And like, no. And
see, that's where you get the benefit, though. It's like, oh, yeah, go South Bend. And be like, oh, yeah, totally, man.
So we would, because and I apologize, I'm like hijacking, but Notre Dame had their all-Catholic invite. So we ran at Notre Dame, and everybody just thought we were their B team. You know what I mean? So,
that's funny.
Sorry to hijack
no,
that.
That's good.
Eventually I would just give up and just be like, yep, we're the Fighting Irish.
We're the Fighting, exactly. That's where it benefits you. And
I would try to tell the truth. It would never work. So I just rolled with it. So cool.
So yeah, played ball there 4 years. Had the fortunate opportunity to start all 4 years.
Awesome.
Which was awesome
and it was
at second
baseball,
base.
Correct?
In baseball,
Yep.
Correct. I was a captain my senior year, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And after that, I ended up kind of coming back home. I kind of really got into my performance training a lot at that time.
Yep.
I've always been a part of fitness my whole life. You know my dad. I mean, I was in the garage at 5 years old doing push-ups and sit-ups and all that stuff. And before I can do anything with my friends or video games, it was get my work done. So it's always been a big part of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, the performance side and understanding it from an educational standpoint really came about after playing, and my passion for it grew. I ended up moving down to North Carolina, and I worked for USA Baseball for a year. I was actually the 18U national team assistant general manager for a year, which was really cool. So recruiting some of the top people in the country at the 18U high school level to play on the national team, which was a really cool experience. Got to meet some incredible college coaches and just people in the industry of baseball. Didn't really do a lot on the performance side of things in the strength and conditioning realm, which again, for me, as that passion was growing, started to knock at my door of like, I think that's where I need to be.
Right.
Which is, a year later, I ended up moving back home and started my own business. And doing something in the performance realm, in a strength conditioning aspect or a fitness industry aspect, served no better than to do it back home. A place that I love, a place that I feel I can give back to a little bit. Just help people in this area more than anything, just develop relationships. And that's what really this place is all about, at least to start. Understanding the importance of how to develop relationships, long-term relationships at that. I love people. I love being around people, influencing people, learning from people myself. And then on top of that, understanding how people can become somewhat self-motivated off of that. So that's kind of what the whole idea of Ohio Sports and Fitness kind of stemmed from. We started really as an athlete-centric place. It had turf everywhere, so it didn't look at all like it does now.
Okay.
And then September of last year is when we kind of remodeled, put a little bit of a renovation into the place, and made it seem a little bit more gym-centric or fitness-centric, with the athlete part still very, a part of it. And then from there, it's just really evolved every month since that point into just upgrading stuff, upgrading what we offer, the services, the people, the resources here, and just trying to listen to the members and the people that come in here and trying to give them as much as I can from value. and just smiling every day and loving my life.
Yeah,
You know,
there you
so
go.
that's where we're at.
Living the dream, baby.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Lifting the dream.
Ooh.
Huh?
Wow, I have to write that down.
All right, cool. That's my cheesy dad joke of the day or whatever.
It's all right.
It works.
I'm sure I'll have one at some point.
It works. It's all good, man. But yeah, well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So without further ado, let's just jump right into your first key to staying burn proof.
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest aspect, and I want to talk on these in terms of how it applies to the fitness industry specifically, right? And to the aspect of my gym. Gyms are hard. Gyms are transient. People come and go all the time.
Right.
You see them pop up everywhere. I think that in any business, but specifically in the fitness industry, in the gym industry, I think the number one thing is understanding your value, right? Finding that value, finding that niche, something that you're really good at, and kind of honing in on that. You know what I mean? A lot of people try to spread themselves too thin. Try to, especially with Instagram nowadays, people are trying to do a million different things. Trying to be good at this, trying to sell products, trying to sell supplements, trying to do, be the bodybuilding gym, be the powerlifting gym, be the whatever. It's like it's great to diversify within that, but understand where your value is. And my value definitely comes, and how this place started, from the athletic performance side, and specifically the baseball side. But I think my value doesn't lie necessarily in the specific genre, so to speak, of bodybuilding, athlete, powerlifting, or whatnot. I think our value, or the value of what OSF stands for, is just the genuine atmosphere and people that we have, especially at the top, right? Me specifically being the person that people can go to and understand that at the end of the day, no matter what, you're gonna get 100% of me, right? You're gonna get my attention.
110%, man.
100%, every day, every day. And I'm gonna build a relationship with you because I care.
Yeah.
So my product, my service is not just being really good at helping someone lift weights or hit a baseball harder.
Right.
My product, my service is helping that person develop a relationship, understanding what more is tied to that outside of just the idea of hitting a baseball harder, but developing a sense of themselves, a self-awareness that applies outside of the game or the gym, that they can apply outside of that.
And so that's like the self-awareness and like self-worth, like I know, so again, obviously different level of athletics, different level, like, and we kind of talked about it, before when we were catching up.
Yeah, in the track and field.
Just like it was very tough for me when sports ended, because that's who I identified. I'm James. Right. I'm James, the long distance runner, and then that goes away, and then you're like, well, that was my happy. We're talking about niche.
Yep.
That was my area of expertise, so to speak. That was a place where I could go shine, and that's the place that I could go. Just all the work I put in, you couldn't cheat the system. You couldn't, But it's like for you, like when you're working with people, whether I'm coming back to man, I'm getting back to the gym. So whether it's me or someone who's still in high school, college, still the athlete, how do you tie in and just make, first I want to hear a little more about your transition and your story, but how, from what you learn about that, how do you help tie that in to just the lift or the swing? Like, it's more than just what you're doing, it's who you're becoming, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think to start, in terms of my story, I've, especially playing a game like baseball, I mean, that's a game filled with failure, something that you have to get used to on a regular basis. If you're looking to hit 600, you might as well find a different sport, go play the trumpet or something, you know what I mean? But, you're failing 7 out of 10 times. In that case, you're still a Hall of Famer from a major league level. So 30%, you're not hanging that on the fridge when you bring home a test score, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to find a way.
Well, depends.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of student you are, I mean.
Did I get a third of a sticker on there too? So.
Right. I mean, our moms, they'd still love us anyway.
Yes,
but,
correct. We're very lucky, very fortunate.
So that idea of failure, and then on top of that, being someone who's always been, rather undersized, a smaller guy, always been told, I can't do something, or I'm too small to play Division I, baseball or athletics and whatnot. I think for me has always been that motivating factor to tell myself, like, hey, let's kind of prove those naysayers wrong. But a lot of people kind of focus on the proving aspect to other people as opposed to proving it to themselves. And I think that a lot of that,
powerful.
that idea of getting in touch with the kids that I work with, or the 60-year-old women or men that are in here, I mean, the demographic can be as vast as you want it to be. Helping them understand that they're not doing this for other people, but they're doing it for themselves is a very powerful thing. It's a very important aspect of really helping them to understand the long-term aspect of the true success you want them to see, which is, from a result standpoint, losing weight or hitting a ball harder, but also mentally, and understanding that the sustainability of what they're doing will become a lifestyle aspect to applications outside of what it is they're doing here. So into their homework, into being the best person they can be, into being the best student, friend, son, mother, whatever the case is. So I think that aspect really highlights from, the idea of first understanding why you're doing it, and you're doing it for yourself more than anything. And then how that can translate into the other aspects of what you do. So,
and you're just giving me a light bulb moment myself. So so that was my saying. And again, is just I was just a fat kid trying to lose weight, and then started beating people in track. So I wasn't fast. I couldn't sprint. I couldn't jog. So I knew all the things I couldn't do. I'm like, hey, this might be something that I could prove others wrong. But I feel like like my saying always, like, tell me I can't, and I will. Tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna go do it twice. Absolutely. So, but like you're helping give me an aha moment now, where it's like it's not about proving others wrong. It's about just proving yourself right, proving to yourself that you're right, that you 100%. are worth more, you are capable of more.
Absolutely.
And that was for me, man. That haunted me a lot. Was even when I achieved the success, I was never happy.
Yeah.
Because there were still more people that proved wrong. So it's like 100%. Even when I proved myself right,
there'll always be people.
I didn't recognize it.
Yep.
So.
I love that. I love that.
Wow.
That's great.
Okay.
Man, we always have those good talks, man.
Oh my gosh.
We're always learning.
Awesome. Yeah, man. All right, cool. I could be happy again. No, awesome. Very cool. All right, so just tying that. So I love that. And then so too, like continue on with like providing value, showing your value and your niche. Like, what are some other things in that aspect that you've utilized? Whether it's you learned the hard way or you read a book or whatever it might be. What are some things that you've taken away and applied it to to here?
In terms of finding that niche or finding the value.
Yeah. Like how do you? So there you are. You're the GM for Team USA.
Sure.
And you're hearing that voice in your head saying, calling you to here.
Yeah.
Before you knew what here was.
Yeah.
Like so, how does someone staying burn proof? A lot of times, is just making the right decision when you're not sure it's right yet. You know what I mean? So like
taking the risk.
So like, how could you share with people like how do you make that decision to determine what your value or what your niche is going to be? Obviously, you got to work at it. It's not like you're born with it, but like how that decision tree or that algorithm through your mind, how did that all play out?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, like you said, it isn't necessarily something you're born with to understand that you're, someone of worth, but at the same time, having that in the back of your head always that there's more for you is an important motivator to help you continually search for that thing that truly makes you happy. And I think that that's ultimately the thing that we most are concerned about is our happiness and what we do and the value that we provide to others and to ourselves. And I think as I was in the whole USA baseball realm and kind of working my way at that point into becoming a college coach, because that was at that point what I wanted to do, I was finding myself enjoying baseball and the process of evaluating players, and of course the highest player that you can't get any higher than what I was at. You know what I mean? In terms of evaluation and the opportunities in front of me to eventually go on to a Division I school to coach college collegiately, right? Obviously starting at the bottom of that collegiate totem pole and working your way up, but it was what I wanted to do. I felt myself always being pulled in another direction, and again being more pulled into the one-on-one, dynamic with the kid that I was recruiting. Whereas as an evaluator, as someone in my role within USA Baseball, for example, I was always on the back end. I was
more
always
looking
behind
at the numbers,
the scenes. The analytical side of things, the event planning, the get them in here, and then let them do their thing with the person that they're going to spend a lot of their time with from the developmental side. Whereas for me, it's like it was great. It was fulfilling to a certain extent, but the true fulfillment for me came from the relationship building.
Yeah.
You know, so again, it was one of those things to where I finally told myself that although this is something that I think on paper, hey, I'm in a bar, I'm, you know, with friends, or I'm, you know, with my parents. Hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm the blah, blah, blah. The title sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what really matters to me is, you know, the relationships that I'm continuing to influence on a, you know, on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, for me, it was finally like, okay, this is great, but you know, I think that the developmental side is where my heart, my passion really lies, my value, my ability to be my true self and to really be successful as a person without having to try was definitely lying in the realm of just talking to someone, just building that relationship. I'm okay at that, you know, and I'm also okay at being able to take away and learn. I'm not too prideful to be able to learn from someone else too, and to apply that to my own life. Whether you're 18 or you're, you know, 48, it doesn't matter. So, you know, I think that, you know, that idea of burn proof comes in the sense from that example is just listen. You got to be able to listen. You have to be able to yes, take the risks and do things that you probably wouldn't do, but you're not going to know whether you like it or not unless you do it.
Yeah.
You know, I took the risk to move to North Carolina and try that when I was in a very comfortable position after graduation. I had a Notre Dame degree in my back pocket too. I could have done anything I wanted with it. But I decided to follow a dream, something that I wanted to do, which is stay in the, you know, athletic realm. But
it's very cutthroat. I mean, even what you're in now is extremely cutthroat.
100%. Very competitive. But you know, I was willing to take that risk in a very different realm than what I was used to doing, and more of the behind the scenes aspect. And I learned at the end of the day, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's fulfilling, but not ultimately what I want to do. And having conversations, having mentors, having people that you can listen to, talk to, whether they're friends, whether they're people that, you know, colleagues that do it at a higher level than you, or whatever the case is, being able to listen on that end too, and kind of piecing all that information together, reflecting on that daily is something I think that is ultimately going to help you make the decision of what it is that you want to do. And you'll know you made the right decision when you're able to smile and you're able to do what you do every day and don't think that you're working, you know? So, you know, again, that idea of burn proof from the value aspect is how I found that value is through trial and error a little bit, but then also, again,
you got to get burned a little
yourself.
bit too.
You have to. You have to. And I think that leads into my second idea of burn proof, right, and what that second topic is. But, you know, I think you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to listen to yourself, listen to others, understand your atmosphere, your surroundings, and take all of that information and reflect on it and apply that to how that fits into your life. Not someone else's, to your life. So for me, that's what happened. So
I love it. Love it. Awesome. Well, cool, man.
And this is Luna.
What's up, Luna? she's the mascot.
She's the gym dog.
She's the gym dog.
She's the gym dog.
She will get you motivated to get.
You look at that dog and you're like, she's got more muscle than anyone in this gym.
We'll do one more
Thanks
set.
to Papa
do one more set. That's awesome. Well, awesome. Well, anything else to add to your first key?
Yeah, I think we touched on some really great stuff. Again, leading into that second point of you know, listening to yourself and being willing, like you said, to kind of stumble and fall a little bit, which again I think is that second point is you know, kind of relaying to the idea of a gym and how they pop everywhere. They're very transient. It's a hard business. It's risky, but you know, in any business you do, if you're not willing to fail, if you're not willing to get stepped on a little bit, you know, kind of overlook naysayers, or like you say, you know, take what other people are saying and have that be your fuel, be your motivation, then you're never going to succeed. If you're going to stop, I think, shoot, it was a podcast I listened to the other day. I don't even remember who it was, but basically it was, in summary, it was like, okay, you know, Dave Smith, tell me how, give me the outline, give me the roadmap on how to become a really successful, you know, entrepreneur. Well, you gotta, you know, send 50 people a text every day and you gotta reach out to these people, blah, 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 right?
You got to
gives them
get
somewhat of a
uncomfortable,
roadmap.
man. You
But
gotta
then
get-
within that same time frame, if you're getting feedback from those 50 people that, oh, you're never going to do this, oh, or they don't respond, and then you're shot, you're discouraged after sending 50 people text messages, then you better find yourself a
There's
new
still
a new gig.
50,000 more people to go, man. Like,
It was
there's,
one day,
there's
man.
still way more
It was
failure
one
to
day.
go.
It was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be willing to take that risk for
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that for me was really the thing that, obviously, again, I know my value, and I
Yeah.
know that I'm going to be successful because I'm not going to let myself fail
Yeah.
from the long-term standpoint.
Yeah.
But within that failure aspect, the irony is I will only be successful if I fail.
Yeah.
I was only able to find my true value when I found something that I didn't like, which was going
Correct.
to North Carolina.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that's one thing that, again, coming out of college and just, again, trying all these different things. But that's one thing that I remember, one of the lessons learned that I had was like, it's, you might not find what you like immediately, but knowing what you don't like is more, like, knowing
100%.
what you don't want to do is more important than really truly find. I mean, like, you're always going to have more you want to do, but
Exactly.
just identify, this is not me, I'm not happy, like, this
Exactly.
is not who I am, and, just delete it, get rid of it. So
100%.
awesome, man, very
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank you, and thank you everybody for checking out video number 1, and we're very excited. We're gonna come back for number 2, number 3, and until next time,
Stay burn proof.
dude, perfect.